Hi, everybody. My name is Sergio Silva. I lead Web3 BD at Fireblocks. We're the largest provider of digital asset infrastructure, self-custody, and treasury management solutions to the enterprises that are in the crypto space. And today, I'm here to talk to you about some of the challenges that brands and corporates face when coming into Web3, as well as present the solution that we're built out to help with these challenges. Let's start by talking about where we are today. And obviously, we've been hearing a lot from different brands and corporates on this stage over the last 48 hours about their journey and what they're building and why they're building in Web3. The reality is, though, that only 50% of Fortune 100 brands have experimented with Web3. And this has only been mostly at the innovation lab level. And we're not really seeing a lot of companies take that to production level, given the challenges that we'll explore today, as well as some of the solutions that have been missing from the space. Compare the number of projects from established brands versus the number of projects that are existing, for example, on OpenSea, where you have close to 80 million NFTs for sale. And you see the big disconnect and the big area of opportunity as well that we're trying to solve. So what is holding brands and corporates back? One of the things that we've done at Fireblocks over the last 2 years that I've been there is just really have conversations and engage and understand the whys. Like, why are you not in the space? What's keeping us from it? And the biggest thing that comes to mind, especially for big brands and corporates, is that brand and reputational risk. And then if we double-click into this, we find that is the regulatory risk, of which obviously there's a lot of headlines recently, but we're talking not just what might Gary do at the SEC in America, but really simple stuff like, how do you account for crypto that you hold in a balance sheet, even if it's just to pay gas fees? And how do you not fall on the regulatory or licensing regimes if you find yourself in the middle of workflows, if you're facilitating products and services for Web3 clients? The second other big risk is the security and compliance risk. How do you not only keep your assets safe on-chain, but also that brand IP that you tokenize and that you release to the blockchain, as well as the user assets that you are providing through your services? On top of this, how do you think about compliance and making sure that whatever you're providing doesn't lead people to interact with sanctioned entities, and making sure that you can provide some good ring fencing and guidelines for them to act securely in the space? So looking at this, we create a blueprint for what brands and corporates need to move forward. Obviously, minimizing regulatory risk, as I said, comes from helping them understand that there are cryptoless and gasless solutions so that they can deploy smart contracts and projects without having to deal with their accounting team as to, how do I report this 20 Ether that we have to pay gas? Flexible custody and deployment solutions, making sure that brands can participate in the space without having to register as a custodian or as a money transmitter. And then seamless incorporation of KYT and KYC protocols. Again, making sure that those transactions that are starting by your products or your clients are not leading people to interact with sanctioned entities or hostile actors. On the security side, we need battle-tested infrastructure that's being proven in the market to power those solutions. And this security needs to be multi-layered. So you need to be thinking from the ground up, all the way from where you're deploying and to how your clients are taking your digital products and services home. And then package it with expert consultation and advice, making sure that the teams that are helping you come into this space, been here, know what they're doing, and come with the highest licensing and certification requirements. There's a third pillar that we've identified, and that's the need to close knowledge gaps and implementation gaps. And it's something that, honestly, events like this are so helpful at, because you get to have those conversations with trusted partners and making sure we can bring in some of the Web2 crowd that might be thinking about Web3, and how do we educate them, how do we help them get up to speed? So now that we know everything that we need, and I know it sounds like a tall order, just to summarize it, brands and corporates must minimize risk while securing their assets and their client assets, securing their smart contracts and their smart contract interactions, as well as giving users the freedom to really participate in the Web3 ecosystem. Because what's the point of launching in Web3 if your clients can't do anything after that? Might as well just launch on a database or some Web2 native application that we have. How do we solve for this? Well, we need an MPC-based non-custodial setup where the end client can be the owner of their assets and truly find that autonomy that Web3 brings. And you need to package this in enterprise-grade security. Again, taking everything that big crypto-native companies have learned in this space and applying it to the consumer sector, and also provide a seamless backup and recovery experience, something that obviously with seed phrases in traditional crypto wallets has been a huge headwind for onboarding. Now, what has Fireblocks done in the overall crypto space? As I said at the beginning, we are the leading provider of digital wallet infrastructure for enterprises. We have clients from all over the world. We service 1,800 institutions, everything from big banks and fintechs, guys like Bank of New York Mellon, which is the largest traditional custodian in the world, to Revolut and BTG in Brazil, fintechs, Web3 native companies like Tom Brady's Autograph, and then Web2 entrants such as Flipkart, which is one of the biggest e-commerce brands in the world and is using Fireblocks technology to deploy wallets. And we have learned a lot of things over the last 4 years, and we're using all that and introducing a new product that we launched at Permissionless last week, and I'm happy to reintroduce today for Europe, which is our Fireblocks Wallet as a Service non-custodial wallet. And what this is an SDK-based wallet that brands and corporates can embed to any iOS, Android, or web application so that their clients can get a full non-custodial wallet that is seedless, that can be recovered, and that can be used to then take home the products and services that you are providing in Web3. So what Fireblocks did is we're extending everything we've learned through launching 130 million wallets for our clients in the traditional crypto space, and using that for these MPC wallets. Like I mentioned before, Flipkart has launched close to 2.5 million wallets with Fireblocks. 1 million of those came over the last month. So this is a technology right here that is scalable and that's been battle tested and proven in the market. Again, we're taking something that secured $4 trillion of digital asset transfers for our biggest banks and fintechs that are participating in crypto, and combining it with our multi-layer security that starts from the ground up, and then adding seamless key backup and recovery that can be done via your more traditional Web2 style, just PIN code, 2FA, Face ID, or a password. And we're delivering this wallet through an SDK that can be embedded into pretty much any application out there, or that can create a brand new consumer application for anybody that wants to come into the space. Personally, I think that we're taking the wallet from being an access layer between a consumer and a product and turning it into a platform upon which brands can come in and then build and deliver experiences that really comply with the ethos of crypto and Web3, where you have full autonomy and ownership of your assets, while at the same time providing guide rails and the ability to scan transactions and making sure that we're all playing within the reality that we live in a regulatory framework for a reason. Not only do we provide these wallets, we also have our own node infrastructure. So anybody building on Fireblocks does not need to then go and contract their own nodes or pay a third-party provider for it. Additionally, given that we've already spent a year building our Fireblocks Web3 engine, clients and brands are using our traditional treasury management solution to secure access to their smart contracts and the applications, as well as their NFT treasuries. I think this is really important as well because we've seen a lot of implementations where brands are minting IP on-chain. Obviously, that's very valuable brand equity that then gets minted by a third party and creates a risk that that third party gets hacked, or that there's a nefarious actor that then interferes with brands' on-chain products and services. And so by using Fireblocks to not only secure your own development, but your deployment, your smart contracts, and now your users with the non-custodial wallet, I really feel like this is going to change the speed and the level of the game that we're going to see from brands and corporates coming into Web3 and building products not just for the Web3 native crowd, and that's something that we've seen so far, right? Like you sell NFTs to people that already have MetaMasks and their own hardware wallets that understand the space. This would allow brands and corporates to build products for their actual TAM, the rest of the people, those that do not want to be bothered with securing a seed phrase or a recovery phrase. With God knows what happens to that little paper where you wrote down your 24 words 3 years ago and now pretty much hold all the assets that you've amassed during that period. With our non-custodial wallet, given that it's a seamless recovery, that key can be recovered, again, depending on the client, with Face ID, with passcode, with PIN code, can be backed up by a third-party provider. And so different levels and degrees of security for the clients and their users. We have a further presentation, a longer webcast on our Web3 wallets that will be happening on September 27th. So I'll invite everybody to scan the QR code and sign up to learn more. Additionally, you can find everything Fireblocks on our website, fireblocks.com. You can find our pricing, non-custodial wallets, and I'm really happy to be here today with you guys. Thank you all so much for your time and your attention, and you can find me after the talk if you have any more questions.